Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, Black people. How is everyone doing this Sunday afternoon? Welcome to Yemimah's World. I am your host, Jale Musa Yemimah. This episode is going to be short and sweet. It has been a minute that I have done an episode. I have not been under the weather. I have been underneath the weather the entire month of July. I have been sick. It started on July 1st, and today is July 30th, and I am still not at 100%, but I am definitely a lot better than I have been the past few weeks. I have missed a lot of time from the corporate plantation. I have been able to do my historical presentations with the help of the divine energy and the ancestors who made it so that I didn't have to really exert myself. I didn't have to put forth a lot of energy. In some of the presentations, I didn't even have an audience, and so I didn't have to present. I just had to show up and still received compensation for it. So I thank the divine energy, and I thank my ancestors for allowing me to be able to still be compensated, even though I didn't really do any work. You can still probably hear I'm a little nasally still, but I am glad to be here. I did a presentation yesterday, and I had more energy at that one than I've had in any of the other ones. I got to present Queen Mother Harriet Ross Tubman Davis, to present her story. And whenever I do a historical presentation, I always try to allow the present to meet the past. Basically, whatever's going on in America today or in the world, I try to make whatever story I'm telling of our historical ancestors, have a common ground. And so with the Satan's foolishness that's going on in Florida, where now he is passing bills where they are teaching our children that slavery basically was a 400-year internship, and that we acquired our skills from doing labor from slavery. Basically, if it wasn't for slavery, we wouldn't have had any skills. And so I presented Queen Mother Harriet Tubman's story, taking us back to her grandmother, Modesty, who came from Ghana, the Gold Coast of Africa, who was part of the Ashanti Nation, Ashanti women warriors, Ashanti queens and kings, who called on the power of Yemimah and Yaya Asantewa. Those were the deities that her ancestors would have called on. And the skills that she possessed, she inherited those skills and was taught those skills by her mother, Harriet, Old Writ, who was taught by her mother, Modesty. And so if Queen Mother Harriet Tubman had never been enslaved, she would still have possessed those qualities of knowing how to read nature, not necessarily for the benefit of freedom, but for the benefit of knowing when to plant and when to harvest, directions of wherever she wanted to go. So nature was our first GPS. The stars, the moon, the water was our first GPS, and she would have acquired those skills from her grandmother, whether she was enslaved or not. And I had a lot of young people in the audience, and so I just wanted to let them know that they needed to understand that their ancestors already had skills, that was one of the reasons why they were enslaved, was because they already possessed the skills to create and to build. And we know that the Europeans did not possess those skills, and they still don't possess those skills. They were really literally over here starving because they could not work the soil. They could not understand the land, the soil, in order to produce crops that would sustain them. We had those skills. We already had those skills. We knew how to work with nature. We are an agricultural people. And so with those skills, we brought those skills with us. We did not possess them, or we did not learn them once we became enslaved. So that was Queen Mother Harriet Tubman's message to the audience on yesterday. And I'm grateful to the ancestors that I had energy, because the ones prior to that, I had zero energy. Zero. When I tell you that my energy level for the month of July was between 0 and 5, I couldn't even stand in the shower for more than a couple of minutes before I was winded or out of breath, or stand and wash dishes. I was winded or out of breath, or just walking down my hall, which is only about 5 steps. I was winded and out of breath. Went to the doctor, and they, the first time I went, they said I had a sinus infection. So they gave me antibiotics to get rid of the sinus infection. And I think one mistake I made was I went back to work at the corporate plantation before I should have. So I went back to work for a few days, got sick again, and had to take a week off. So the sinus infection wasn't getting any better. And I went back to the doctor for another reason. I found a knot in my stomach. So I went back to the doctor, and they think it's a hernia, but they have to run some tests to make sure that that's what it is. But right now, I was still sick, so I think I have the test next week. And the sinus infection wasn't getting any better as far as my lungs feeling like I was losing my breath. The sore throat cleared up, but I still had a chronic cough, and I was still being out of breath. So I went back to the doctor a third time, and the sinus infection had turned into bronchitis. So I was still out of breath. I still had this chronic cough, and I called my brother, or my brother called me to check on me. And my brother still lives in rural Virginia, and he still makes homemade concoctions. And so he gave me a recipe for my cough. And I made some homemade cough syrup. And I've been taking that, and it has improved my coughing tremendously. I had been taking over-the-counter cough medicine. It did nothing for me but made me sleep. But the concoction that I made with the assistance of my brother, I am feeling so much better. They did give me another round of antibiotics for bronchitis. And so I'm feeling better. Feeling a lot better. A little congested, but 100% better. So, before we go on, I want to thank the divine energy. I want to thank my ancestors for the wisdom. Thank them for allowing me to hear their voices. Thank them for allowing me to speak their words with clarity, to feel their love and support in my heart, to allow my hands to continue the work, and that my feet are planted surely on the foundation that they have left for me. Abene, abene, abene to the Kalnad, abene to the Benyamin Yowale. I say thank you, thank you, thank you. Ashe, 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 faye. So this episode, while I was in my underneath the weather, and I wasn't doing much of anything but watching social media and things of that nature. So the big story for July was the Carlee Russell story, the young Alabama black woman who faked her own kidnapping and had people looking for her and this, that, and the other. When I tell you, black people made it their business to talk about this woman as if she was dirt on the bottom of their shoe. They clowned her. They made memes about her. They just made it seem like she was just the most unintelligent, ignorant thing, and that she has set black people back 2,000 years for what she had done. I never saw any white people utter a word about her publicly. Now we know that them bokras were talking in their tea time, their luncheons, their barbecues, their Saturday morning soccer moms, wherever they were meeting, you can best believe they were mentioning Carlee Russell. But we as black people are the only ones who give our oppressors the bullets to put into their guns to shoot us with. You do know that white people go on black Twitter to see what's happening. They go on black social media to see what's happening. How do you think they learned the term woke? They come into our spaces that we allow them into, and they figure out how they can use our own hatred of ourselves and of each other against us. And so what we see is Black America talking about, oh God, now when black women are missing, they're not even going to come looking for us. Did they ever? So Carlee Russell's indiscretion has caused the white people to not come looking for black people. Have they ever? Have they ever looked for us before? Before the Carlee Russell debacle? Even before the Jussie Smollett debacle? Had they ever really believed us? Or fought for us prior to this happening? I'll wait. I don't think they have. But what really got me was I saw a clip of the I think it's called the parking lot pull-up, and the young lady that was doing the TikTok video, she talked about a white woman who did the same thing and even worse back in 2016. And her name is Sherry Papini. And apparently she faked her own kidnapping and actually, I believe, asked for a ransom, a reward. That's how far she took hers. She asked for a ransom, a reward, as she faked her kidnapping. There was another white woman, and I can't find the information about her. I think back in 2005, she did the same thing. She not only faked her kidnapping, but she put a hit out on her husband, saying the kidnappers were about to kill her husband, and she had faked all of this. These were two white women that did this. Now, we all know the story of white women who fake black men attacking them. We saw that during COVID with the white woman in New York when she called 911 on the black man who was just bird watching and told them he was assaulting her. We've seen white women do it time and time and time and time and time and time again. And 9 times out of 10, nothing happens to them. And 9 times out of 10, I never see black women say anything about them on social media. And I never see white women say anything about them on social media. Never. But Carlee Russell, and I'm not saying what she did was right. It absolutely was not. I'm just wondering why she didn't receive the same grace that Sherry Papini received. The same grace that other white women who have done the exact same thing received. And by grace, I mean silence. Not talking about it, not giving energy to it, not calling them out, because you certainly did not give that grace to Carlee Russell. Not at all. You clowned her. You made memes about her. You gave all that negative energy. You gave them the bullets. So the next time a black woman does actually go missing, they're going to use the bullets that you gave them. Oh, look what Carlee Russell did. So we're not even going to start an investigation or look, because Carlee Russell has ruined it for black women. And they're going to feed you the energy that you gave them to use against you. Sometimes we are our own worst enemies. Our own worst enemies. When white people do that, oh, well, there must be some mental illnesses. She was suffering from depression. Oh, she was in a bad marriage. But with Carlee, oh, she was just dumb and stupid. She was just ignorant. That's it. That's the episode. Carlee Russell's white lie. Call it a white lie because white women have been doing it over and over again. Let's give each other some grace. Let's learn from them. Let me tell you something. When white people do stupid shit, you don't see white people really talking about it. You really don't. When bluish people do stupid shit, they know to keep their mouths shut. They don't talk about it. With black people, we don't even have to invite them to the cookout anymore. We put the cookout on social media. Carlee Russell should have been discussed at our cookouts, in our chat rooms, but certainly not in front of company. That's all I got to say. Black people, come on. Let's give each other some grace. And I'm not saying that when we do something that is dangerous and is not helpful to the community, that we should keep silent. That's not what I'm saying. But if you're going to call out us, each other, for doing those things, then call out everybody when they do that. When anybody does anything that is detrimental to the black community, call that shit out. I am a equal opportunity call out whatever, whoever. I don't care. If it's destructive to the black community, I don't care what you look like. I'm calling you out. All right, that's it. I told you it's going to be short and sweet. I will probably do, usually on Sundays, I try to do like African spirituality Bible study, Sunday Hoodoo Bible study, or something to that effect. So I'll probably do that one on tomorrow. I have a wonderful class that I am taking tonight, and maybe I'll be able to share some things that I learned on tomorrow. I definitely went to church this morning via the internet. I may have mentioned it before, excuse me, I have found a online Pan-African church, and their sermons are revolutionary theology, and they are, again, a Pan-African church, and their sermon this morning, or the one that I listened to this morning, was amazing, and I'm going to share some things from that sermon on my next episode. But until then, keep the faith, baby. Like Adam Clayton Powell used to say, keep the faith. Be kind to each other. Be kind, be kind, be kind. Give grace to each other, and stop giving grace to those who mean you no good. All right. Until next time, love, peace, and hair grease.